One and all present here today. I, Mansi Gohil, welcome you all to the webinar series of Parul Institute of Commerce. Today we have with us Dr. Vinit Chauhan, who is a faculty at Sir Padampad Singhania University, Udaipur. He has done his PhD in activity-based costing in the year 2007. He has a teaching experience of about 19 years and has served various renowned institutes of Rajasthan. He also has a good experience in research area. He has published a total 76 research papers, out of which 12 in Scopus and 9 in Web of Science. So today he is going to share his knowledge on how to write a research paper and what are do's and don'ts for the same. So we welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Mansi, and good afternoon to one and all present. This is Dr. Vinit Chauhan. First of all, I would like to thank Parul University and Mansi for a warm welcome. Further, Nidhi ma'am, I am known to her, and not only that, I am also known to Professor Krishnamurthy. I don't know whether he is there still in Parul or not, but let us begin, and my presentation will be based upon my 17 years of experience, and I will be sharing it to you uh, the work which I have done, the learning which I got from or with the help of this experience. Uh, my slide is visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, so the topic of my today's presentation is research paper writing, do's and don'ts. Means what you have to do while you would or you are starting your research, how you will write a research paper. And my presentation is divided into two parts. The first part is showcasing, because it is also important to give it to you the awareness that the person who is there, what he has learned, and from where he has learned those things. Further, where you can also get your profile, from where you will get the information about that. So we will start with the first part, that is the Scopus. uh, this is the one of the prestigious website which is named as Scopus. Is the website address is here written here, scopus.com. And on the Scopus page, we will have the option to search with the help of either the author or search the journals which are listed. If you write my name, so you will get this type of detail, which is the outcome. So the outcome is shown here. It will provide you a few things regarding the person who is being searched. So here it shows that documents are 12. That means that 12 papers are already listed in the Scopus. Now Scopus is a bit different with the other website. In the Scopus, they have given a list. If you publish a paper in the listed journals with the Scopus, then also what will happen, that thereafter uh, the Scopus is going to list, and it is going to show it to you there on the profile. So a profile will be made for each and every individual who has got a paper published. And this picture shows us the matrix that shows the number of documents, number of citations, and the index. Now here again we need to understand that what is the meaning of a index, because when a person will go out, certainly the person will be called that what is your H index or what is your I10 index. Basically these are two indexes which is made to understand the impact of the person. uh, H index 1, that means one paper is cited one time. So formula is very easy, n multiplied by n, and the indexing is n. So if your three papers are cited three times, then the H index will be 3. So rather we can say that multiplication of the paper by the number of time it is cited. Cited means it is referred by somebody else. So that is the citation. Here it is shown that so you can see here that the year in which the papers are being added in the Scopus, and then these are the citations. Another website is Google Scholar. Google Scholar will also be showing it to you the similar type of matrix. In Google Scholar, when you check, so what will happen in Google Scholar, I just want to show it to you directly by using the uh, website directly. The website is scholar.google.com. I hope you are able to see the Google Scholar page.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. So on this page, I have prepared my own profile. So you need to prepare your profile uh, if you want to get your citations and scores. So when I click it here, you will see that here it shows the about the researcher, the papers which are being published by the scholar, and on this side we have an important graph which shows us the citation. Total citation is 420, means my papers were cited by 420 research papers, means in 420 research papers they have cited my work. Okay, so and here again we have H index, the formula remains same, number of papers into number of times. So 13 papers 13 times or more, if they are cited, then the H index is prepared as 13. Another new invention by the Google Scholar is I10 index. I10 index is the index which shows the impact of the paper, that how many papers are cited more than 10 times. So here it says 15, means 15 papers are cited more than 10 times. So here the paper is given, the citation is also given, and the year in which the paper is published is also given. So here you can see that the first paper is cited by 56 other researchers. The second paper is cited by 53. So similarly, we have the papers which are cited by the other researchers. So here till here, the I10 index is counted. And since 13 is the H index, so 13 papers are cited 13 times. So this is the one information which is essential for us to understand that how the scholar will showcase or how the work is being showcases. This slide is also showing that about the detail of my paper publications. So you can see here my papers were published in ABDC listed journal. I think we all are aware, because we all are either in the masters or we are the faculty members. So we are aware that the in commerce, the major or the impactful journals are cited in ABDC journals. It is Australian board which has given a list of the journals, and these are called as most prestigious journals in our subject in commerce and management. So I got a few publication in ABDC, Springer listed journals, then elsewhere listed journals. You can see here there are a few things which will be showing it to you, that like Inder Sciences. So paper which is accepted here in Inder Science. So that one this part is showing that this is the Ruthage, that is the Taylor and Francis group. So their paper is also accepted. Here the materials today is listed in, or it is the journal which is published by Elsevier. IGI Global, I got some papers accepted there. Inder Sciences, it is here already available. Vile, I got the acceptance, so I will show it to you later on. These all are the Scopus listed journals. and they all are treated as a good journal. If any person will say that my 10 papers are listed in Scopus, certainly it will shows the impact of the person. So nobody will have any doubt. Okay, so this is the one part, first part, and this is the one which I have shown it to you directly on the Scholar page also. So this is again taken from the Google Scholar. Further, one more thing, Google Scholar will automatically shows it to you the area in which your research papers are there. So if you can see here, the first is activity based costing, because this is the PhD title. And right now I have just completed a UGC sponsored research project with my guide, Professor G. Sorel, who is currently the president of Indian Accounting Association. And the project report is being submitted to UGC. This project was over 10 lakh of rupees given by UGC. Another area is accounting and management accounting, where I will have, or I have more research. Sustainable development, as we are aware that it is a new area, and my one scholar has already completed her PhD on sustainable development, and we got very good publications from sustainable development part also. So scholar will tell it to us that these are the area where your most of the papers are there. This is a citation matrix. It was also there when I have shown it to you, the Google Scholar page. And this shows us that how many times our paper are being cited by the other researchers. So you can see that in 2016, majorly more than 105, I think around 120 papers, or my paper was cited by or cited in 120 papers of the other authors. Means they are citing my papers. It also validate that whatever research I have done, that research is impactful. So then only the people are going to cite your paper. So this is the first part. Now we shall be moving into the basic thing which I want to give it to you, that when you need to write a research paper, or you think that I am going to write a research paper, what you have to do. So the first thing is not to search out the, normally people believe that the first thing is to search out the topic. Okay, let us believe I got a book or a journal from the library. I will open a page randomly, and whatever is the title, I am going to write on that particular title. So this is not practically done, and this is not acceptable also. So the first thing people normally say, that the first thing is that you need to search out the title and then searching out the journal. But I believe that when you need to write the paper for an impactful journal, it is not that you are first searching the title, you are preparing the paper, and then you search out the journal. So in that case, what will happen, the practical problem which I have faced, that I am sharing it with you, that in that case, what will happen, that sometime you will search out a journal which is of a higher level than your paper. So certainly the paper got rejected. And I also would like to share here that it is not that my papers are not being rejected. Of course, my papers were also rejected. I also got the information from the reviewer that this are the problems. So what is to be done thereafter? Thereafter, I have to improve the paper and then send, if option is there, I want to send it into the same journal. Or if it is not, then I will have to search out another journal. So, and what I do normally, so as I told it to you that we have a ABDC journal list. Okay, so what I can do is I first search out a journal. So I will take a journal or select a journal from the list which is A category journal. So ABDC is basically classification of journals into 4 different categories: A, B, C, and D. So I will search out A category journal. Then corresponding to that means similar title of another journal, I will also check it out from B category, C category, and 4 category. So I am going to note it down. Okay. And further, when you are selecting the journal, what you have to do, you will first have to see what is the area of your interest. Okay, it is not there that we just open a journal and we got some information from anywhere and we will think that now I can write a paper on this topic and I will start writing. So it is not there. So first you will have to select the topic of your interest. For example, for our today's session, if I select a topic like working capital, suppose, okay, so I believe that I can write a paper on working capital management. So this is the topic of my interest which I have searched. Then I need to search out the paper from my area of interest, that is the working capital. So I will search out the paper on working capital. While searching the paper, there are two modes. Normally we are aware about the Google Scholar. I just gave it to you and show it to you today. The website was scholar.google.com, or you can write Scholar in the Google. You will already get, or you will directly get that. So there you need to write the area. So as I have selected the area working capital, so I will write there working capital. Okay. And as I already told it to you that you don't need to think that overnight idea we can do it. No. So what we have to do, we have to read out at least 10 good papers on the same topic. So how we can get this topic? First, as I told it to you that we have selected the working capital topic today. So I need to search out the topic or the papers which were published on working capital management, which are already there. The Scholar has two type of services. Number one, citation services, and number two is the paper services. So Scholar will provide it to you the full paper. Okay, so what you have to do, you need to take the full paper from there, and another thing will again be there, that the Google will provide it to you the paper which is best suited as per your title which you gave it for the search. The title which you have entered is working capital. So certainly Google will give it to you the papers which are published on the title of working capital. But again, I gave it to you the list of libraries, or I will give it to you again. So you need to search out the papers which are published in those good journals. Suppose you want to publish a paper in Management Accounting Research Journal, which is the A category ABDC journal, the best one, we can say, except the American Accounting Association journal. Thereafter, the next one is this Management Accounting Research Journal. So if you want to publish in the Management Accounting Journal, you need to take the papers from the good journals which is equivalent of the level of the journal which you have selected. So if you take any paper published in any website which is free, or which is from the pediatry journal, the paper which is published in a journal which take 500 rupees or 1000 rupees from you, and if you will submit the paper today and tomorrow they are going to publish it without any review, without any check. So if you take the reference from those journals, and if you send the paper to Management Accounting Research, on the very next day you will get a reply, and the reply will not be in your favor at all, because they also want that the scholar who is submitting the paper must have taken the papers or his reference should be of a particular levels journal. If you are going below that, they are not going to accept it. They are going to reject, and they will write a line that you need to select the journal which are being referred in this paper. If you got this type of reply, that means that the paper you have cited in your the paper which you have cited in your paper are includes some of the papers which are very poor quality, which are treated by them as a poor quality, and that is why they are not going to publish. So this is the first thing, this is the first part of your preparation. Without taking or without reading at least 10 good paper from the very own topic which you have selected, you cannot go for writing. If you will go for writing, then it may be you will write something else. So I will be showing it to you in the next slide thereafter. Okay, now how to initiate for writing a good paper? Means what you have to do. Okay, so the first thing which you need to do is, normally it happens that the guide will say to you, or some teachers will also say it to you, that what you have to do, start writing something, write an introduction of the paper. But then there is a problem, and the problem I'm also going to share. So the step is, the first thing, which is that if you have taken the 10 or 20 good papers, and if you have read out those papers, from those reviews, you will have to start first preparing for a good questionnaire. Otherwise, what will happen? Sometime you will write the first part, you will write the review of literature, research methodology, everything, but you will not be getting the good amount of either the respondents, or your responses which you have received is not providing it to you the detail of next step, that is data analysis. So that is why the first thing which I believe is that on your topic which you have selected, so certainly as I gave it to you the topic of working capital, so you cannot write a paper only on a working capital. Okay, so you need to add certain things in it, like working capital management of steel sector company, working capital management of IT sector company, and then companies in India. So then you can go for the data collection. So if you are doing a research which is the primary research, you need to prepare a good questionnaire. And when you are preparing the questionnaire, certainly the questions you need to select, that is as per your objective. Okay, so what are your objectives? Accordingly, you need to select the question. So that means you also need to set your objectives also. Further, because no one is born perfect, as we say, so you also need to take the help from your guide, from your mentors, or in case of faculty, from the colleagues. Share the questionnaire in maybe in a hard copy, sit in front of your colleagues or your guide or your mentor, ask them to give you some suggestions, because sometime it may be that the question which are already included in the questionnaire are either repeated or giving some sense which is having no relation with your research work. So that is why you need to take the help from the scholars, who sometime you also can take the help of the scholar who are doing the research in that particular area. So when, let me tell it to you one more thing, that when I was or I have started my own journey of my research, what I did is, as per my guide says, I wrote to different persons who have written the paper in good journals that is related with my topic. Similarly, I got one eminent speaker and very good eminent personality, Professor Mohiuddin Sanghmi, who is who was at that time working in uh, Srinagar at Jammu University, I think. So he gave me some guidance for writing the good paper, and his guidance has also worked very well for me. Similarly, you can also, when you are searching the good papers, you can also take the help of those people or those writers who have written the good paper, so that will be beneficial for you. Further, then you will start gathering the data. Again, when you start gathering the data, if you just have to take first from 10 or 20 qualified respondent. Qualified means the people as per your research who can give it to you the answer. Means you cannot take the view of everybody. For example, suppose my title of research is working capital management of steel sector companies. So I will have to take the view of 10, 20 qualified respondent, means 10 or 20 people from steel companies who are already working in the steel company. And with that, you also need to write them with the open-ended questions about the overall view on the questionnaire. So you can encourage them that, sir, please uh, provide me something that will fulfill my aim, or that any change which is required in my questionnaire. So that can also be given by them. Further, for preparing a questionnaire, don't write yes or no type questions. I think you are aware about that. If there is a requirement, you can write one or two questions as a demographic profile, but don't write yes no question, because when you will go for data analysis, it will be very hard to analyze the answers which are in the yes or no format. So rather, I think there is another one technique which is called Likert scale. So it is a scale given by a scientist, social scientist Likert. Uh, and he said, and he has proven that if your scale will be having a 3, 5, 7, 11, or 9 different categories to answer, you will be able to analyze better rather than in case of yes or no type question. So that is the one part. Another thing is, make the questionnaire into the structured format. Means the questionnaire should be having maximum question, but it is formatted in such a way that it will be a minimum size. Because I have also faced the problem. One of the scholar has given it to me a questionnaire. He said, sir, I am unable to find out whatever are the questions related to my research work, so you just check it out. And I have seen the questionnaire having 35 pages. When I have made it into the proper format, so when I gave it to him back, the questionnaire size was only 3 pages. So this much type of exercise we need to do, so that the people who are going to give us the answer, they shall be giving it to us the answer in an appropriate format, and they should not believe that the questionnaires is very long. Although questionnaire preparation is not the topic for today, but these are some things which is important. So that's why I gave it to you. Further, the topic selection, as I told it to you, that while you are selecting the topic, so of course the area of interest, your knowledge about the theme is also important. You should know about the concept also, and you should also know the latest research. So from where you will get the latest research? So as I told it to you in the previous slide, that I will show it to you the places from where you can gain the insight of the knowledge. So you can see here, I have included some of the libraries, except the first two, Google Scholar and EBSCO. These are the huge libraries which are not having only a single publisher's paper covered, but n number of publishers are also covered by both of them. But when we are writing a good paper, we need to take the papers from basically these four: Elsevier, Springer, Inderscience, Ville. One also I would like to add, that is Taylor and Francis. So if you take those library or papers which are published by the in the journal which is published by these publishers, then there will be a good chance for you to be selected or your paper to be selected. Okay, so this is the one thing. Further, your topic, that should explain your research area also. It should be concise. Normally some of the journal will say that your topic should not be having more than 20 words, but when you are showing, you also need to show the research area. Like if I write the title of the paper, working capital management in India, I think any one of the journal which is of these publisher, they are not going to accept it. They will say first line that the title is incomplete. Rather, you can write working capital management of steel companies in India. They will certainly be interested in that research. So that is why the topic which is selected, that should be a good topic which will give it to the reader the knowledge about the area in which you are going to do the research. Another thing is, when you will go for the research paper writing, what you need to do and what you do not need to do, these are the major part from this. So we will take one by one area. Like the first area is abstract. If we check out in the abstract, as I have written, abstract is the first impression. So first impression should be good, and for that purpose you also need to know that what should be the size. Normal size of abstract is 200 to 300 word. So your abstract should not be more than 300 words. Sometime some of the journal may say that 100 words only or 150 words only. So you need to be concise. Now, what are the content? Nobody will tell it to you that what you should include in the abstract of your research paper. But of course, the abstract should include some of the things which is the topic. So when you are writing, you need to write about the in the abstract, you need to write that working capital management in a steel company is important because of this. You don't need to write the meaning. Okay, so in the topic or in the abstract, if you are writing the meaning that working capital means current assets minus current liabilities, like that, so that you don't need to do. Here it is written that basic concept explanation, if you do it in the topic, certainly the person who is going to read out your paper will be having a knowledge of working capital. And if the person is not having the knowledge of working capital, that person need not to read out the paper on working capital, because that is the basic knowledge or basic requirement. So if you do not fulfill the basic requirement, don't move into that area. So that is why the first thing is topic. And what you don't need to do is missing the topic. Don't miss the topic. So topic should be there. Thereafter, you need to write one line about the objective, that the objective of this research is this, or we have conducted this research for this. Another line should be about the relevance, that why your study is important. So working capital management in steel companies is important because they are having a different privileges than the industry. What are the different privileges? That we can write it later on. Or if I need to give it to you, I can say that the privilege is that their sales is cash basis and their credit term period is 270 days, around 9 months. So they will get a 9 months credit, while they will, when they are going to sell the product, their product is sold with advance cash payment that is in full part. So they need not to require a working capital concept, or they even not bother for the working capital. While if you move into the IT companies, so there they need high amount of working capital. So that is why you need to write the relevance of working capital in those company. Field of the study. So field of the study, sometime you need to write, sometime you are not required to write. So you can say that it is the field of finance which is important. So working capital is one of the term in the finance. So you can write that it is the finance field part, and it is most important, as finance is important for the business. Then the method of data collection. So whether you have used primary data or secondary data. If you have used the primary data, so then what is the size of your data? Say you have taken the data from 200 respondents of 200 companies in India. So that is the method of data collection and size. If you are in the secondary data, you are using the secondary data, you need to write that we are using secondary data from this date to this date. Yeah, 2014-15 to 2019-20, like that. Then what is your main result? So that is why we can say that abstract should be written at the end, because till you got a result, you cannot complete the abstract. So that is why we also write abstract sometime at the end, or sometime we write few things and then after data analysis we complete that, and then we need to write a line of conclusion. So these are the things which are important. But if you write in your abstract the explanation of basic concept or irrelevant discussion, or if you miss out the topic and write something else, or if you do not explain the type of your study, if you do not explain the size of the data, whether primary data you are using or secondary data, then it will not be treated as a good abstract, and it will not, your paper is having 50% less probability of moving into the next stage. Normally in good journals, the paper is first been read out by the journal editor, and if editor believe that yes, the paper is worthy, then it will go for peer review part. So 50% chance you will lose if your abstract do not have these topics. Then you need to write the introduction. Now again in the introduction, so here you can understand that why I was telling it to you that first prepare your questionnaire. Because in the introduction, if you have no way, if you are standing in the middle of a cricket ground, you can hit the ball on any direction. But the journals, they are having their own direction. They do not want that the ball is moving into every direction. So that is why you will, when you are writing your introduction, you will have to introduce the topic. You will have to write about the variables which you are going to discuss in your paper. So from where you will have the variables are in the questionnaire. So that is why you need first to take the help of the variables which you have taken. So what you need to do here, you need to provide number one, insight of your topic. Number two, you need to cite the work of previous researcher. Further, while citing, I may tell it to you that if you select from ABDC, suppose A category journal, so you need to search out the paper on the same title, working capital title, in that journal. Then in the journal of B category, which is in the B category list, which is in the C category list, I told it to you that you need to select one journal from A, B, C and D category, which is publishing the papers of your papers on the title which you have selected. So first you need to cite from the A category journal, so then they will believe when the editor is going to read it out, he will understand that yes, you have cited very good journal, so that's why there will be a chance for your paper to be selected, okay, to be entered maybe into the into the review part. So that is why citation is important. But here again, I would like to say that you don't need to write the basic concept. You don't need to write well-known approaches about the working capital. They are not required anymore. They are required when a student is undergraduate student or postgraduate student. So till the class, these things are required. Thereafter, we don't require this. The next part is the second impression, that is review of literature. And let me tell it to you, if I got say around 100 rejection, my 90% rejections were due to the review of literature. So that is the importance of this part. If you are writing the review which is not appropriate, you are writing something else, your variables in your questionnaires are something else, review something else, abstract something else, certainly your paper will be rejected. So that is why the review you need to write from in the review you need to start with the concept again, that working capital concept. But the concept is not the working capital concept. The concept is use of working capital in the steel companies. So you need not to start with working capital. Okay, you need to start with the use of working capital in cement company or in a steel company, as we have taken a steel company sample. So working capital management in a steel company, and you need to write with the reference of somebody else. So that means certainly if you have read out 20 good articles, so you can find it out from there that what they have in their conclusion they have written about the working capital. So from there you can write. Further, in the review of literature, you need to write the small lines. You also need to check your English. And the most problematic part in the review of literature is the syntax error, means sequencing. If the sequencing is not there, one line is saying something else, another line is saying something else, means both have no interconnection in between. So then your paper will be having very less chance to be accepted. So that is why the syntax or sequence should also be there and always be there. So if a layman is going to read it out, he should have a proper understanding that yes, this is the first line, this is the second line, they all are linked, just like as a story or as a novel. If you read out the novel, the first line, the second line which is written is linked with the first, third is linked with the second. Similarly, you need to write it, and if you are following the way I have given it to you, certainly it will be easy, because then what you are going to do, you have the various variables. So what you are going to do, you are writing about those variables and the work which is given by somebody else in about those variables. So that is the review basically. So what you have to do, you have to write hypothesis on the basis of the data or the reviews which you are writing in the review of literature. Okay, so you need to since you have the variables already, you have some of the data, so you may prepare the hypothesis before even writing the question, the research paper. So if you have the hypothesis, you will have to write that this was the variable, okay, and in calculation of that variable, this was the problem, this was the benefit. In steel companies, this is the problem and these are the benefits. And then you can write that yes, this is the hypothesis which we have developed on the basis of this review. Okay, so normally in the papers, if you write your review like such a way that you write a small paragraph and then the hypothesis, then again you write a paragraph which will lead to be the hypothesis. So that type of review is given a greater weightage in the journals. So this is to be done. Okay, then you also need to discuss the questionnaire, the questions, the variables. Don't move here and there. If the question says that working capital management is, are you satisfied with the working capital management in the steel company? And suppose you are writing that working capital management is an important concept for, say, IT companies, so then there is no link. Okay, so this type of link you should fix, and that is why you have to remove. If you feel that it is important to write this line, then you can remove the IT sector company, that word IT sector. You can also only write that working capital concept is important for the companies in India. Okay, so by that way you are just removing the problematic area from your review of literature. Okay, and you if you discuss out of the box or general term, certainly it will not work. So that you need to remove from your paper. The third part is research methodology, which is the third impression. Normally in our papers which normally published in the Indian journals, you will see that there are some headings which are there in the research methodology, but the good journals, they don't have subheadings into the research methodology part. So since you have already selected the journal, you have already downloaded the paper, so read it out, at least two or three review of literature from the different two or three papers. Certainly you will be getting to the point, and you will be having a knowledge that how they have written it. So normally what are the part you need to cover, those points I have written here. Further, those points should be covered into a paragraph. Okay, like if you are writing about the population, so you can write how many steel companies are there in India. Okay, so this data you can get it easily from the net. Then since you have the questionnaire, you have already collected the data, so you are aware that you have collected the data of this much number of companies. If you are using the secondary data, then you also have the data, and you can say that our sample includes this much number of companies. Then you will also have to share the hypothesis that you have gathered the data is which is of this particular form, and that is why, and this is your objective. According to your objective, according to the data, you will have to test this hypothesis. So that part you need to cover. Then the plan for your sample, that how you have identified the sample. Suppose you have taken the sample of steel companies in, say, Rajasthan or in Gujarat, or in western part of the country, or in middle part of the country. So what was the way by which you have selected the research area? So that is called as a sample frame or survey pool, which you need to say, which you need to add. Sampling technique, that which technique you have used. Okay, then sample size, how you have determined the sample size. There is a simple Cohen's formula, if you search it out on the net, and it is very simple. So if you write somewhere that we have used this Cohen's formula, and then as per the formula, this is the size and our size is greater than this, so it is okay. So that you can add in your paper, but it is not compulsory. But in case if you need to write, if you find it out that in the other papers it was written that how you have determined the sample, so then you also need to write that. Okay, thereafter you have measurement scale, that on at what scale you have collected the data, how you have administered the questionnaire. So whether you went there with your questionnaire, you have taken interview, you have used the questionnaire as a schedule, or you have sent them by the Google form or in any other format. what is the statistical technique which you have utilized in your research paper. So that are the thing which you need to explain in detail in the methodology. Methodology is the part which is always there in any paper, around 1/3 page to 1 page in between, and that is also in a smaller size. Means if I say it is Times New Roman 10 and single line spacing, so it may be around 35 to 36 lines on a page, so around 30 lines. So that size should be there for the methodology part. Thereafter, the data analysis part is also there, but data analysis you need to be very specific, and you need to learn the various techniques which is used for the statistical data analysis. But here I just only want to mention that if you have already written the hypothesis in review of literature, then do not repeat it here. Just write that this is the heading and this is the analysis. If you have not shown the hypothesis in review of literature, then write the hypothesis also before you are providing the result of data analysis. Further, in data analysis part, also provide the demographic profile of the sample. So if you have taken the sample primary data, then you can show the age, gender, classification, education, experience, etc. If you have taken the secondary data, you can write that number of company, this is the list of the company, 5 companies or 10 companies from which I have taken the data. So that is also essential and important. Thereafter, you also have to write the statistical technique which you have used. Maybe on any another day we shall discuss about the statistical techniques, but right now we are approaching to the time allotted to me, so that's why I am not moving into the data analysis part. But of course we have some softwares I have mentioned here: SPSS, Python, Statecraft, Amos, etc. So those are the software which also you can use for generating the results. And if you are presenting a meaningful data analysis, then interpretation, mathematical figures, that can also be add on to your data analysis, so that you can also add. Another part is result, but result you cannot write in the form of same result. So after your data analysis tables, which you may be getting from any of the software, you need to write summary of findings. So what you found, what was the result? So that is the first thing which you need to write summary in the result. Further, thereafter you need to write what were the hypotheses. So you have written suppose 5 hypotheses. So you need to write how many of them were supported or how many of them were rejected. Let me tell you one more thing here. The international trend says that you need to write only the alternative hypothesis. Okay, so here you will have to say that alternative hypothesis which says that there is a significant difference. Okay, so that is supported or not. If it is supported, then what it mean? If it is not supported, means null hypothesis is accepted. Then why the null hypothesis is accepted? If it is alternative is accepted, why it is accepted? And thereafter you also need to write that how the future researcher can do their research for measuring the hypotheses which were not supported in your research. So these are the things which is expected in the part of result. There is another thing which you need to add: theoretical and managerial implication. Theoretical implication means what does the result will impact on a theory. Okay, means theoretically what is to be done. The managerial implication means what the manager will understand from your concept and what will they do. So suppose your study says that working capital management concept is not undertaken by the steel companies. So you may say that manager should understand the importance of working capital management, because everybody is saying, because our alternative hypothesis is accepted, that it is a significant concept for steel company. So in that case, certainly you need to write to the manager that the manager need to understand the concept, they need to implement it, they need to implement in this way, the way which you have included in your questionnaire. From there you can give them the guidelines that this is required to be done by you. Okay, so theoretical implication means the things which is done by the mass or by the people. लोग क्या करेंगे और what people are going to do, that is the theoretical implication. What the managers can do, that is the managerial implication. So these two implications will add stars to your research, that you have worked, but these are the part which is important, these are the guidelines. Then thereafter you need to write a short conclusion at the end. So you need to write the objectives, that you need to start the conclusion with the objective, that this was your objective, these were the objectives which you have achieved. Okay, and here you don't need to refer any figure or table, that as per this figure or as per this table. You need to write main crux of your study, and always need to make it short, normally 100 to 150 words, because you have already given results, you have already discussed the results, you have already given the implications, managerial and theoretical implications. That is why the conclusion needs to be short. Here I also would like to mention that the theoretical and managerial implication, that should be around half page to 3/4 page. The result and discussion, when you are discussing, it should be around 1 page. So this is the standard size. Okay, then thereafter the final thing is the reference. Reference, as I always put a weight on the reference, I already told it to you that from where you need to take. So you need to take from the good publishers journal. Further, you need to learn writing the references as per the style needed, that in which style you need to write. Okay, there are various styles, so you can use Google Scholar. I think I have added one more part here. So this is the one of the picture which I have added for your help. In my paper, which I have written on sustainable reporting, so you can see the sustainable reporting which I have searched it out. You can see here, I think it has just move ahead. Here we have 2 inverted comma. Okay, so when you click on this on the Google Scholar, you will get a new window, pop-up window like this, and it will shows it to you the references which is written in different styles like MLA, APA. APA is most common in our case. If your selected journal belongs to a European country, then you need to write on in the Harvard style. Vancouver style is used by less, but in medical research, maximum part which is used. So the reference also, you can take help of the Google Scholar to take the reference. So you need to write the topic. If you believe that yes, this paper is taken from the good journal, then you can click it. You can see here also the name of the journal is also there. Okay, so as I told it to you, like Springer's journal, we will show it to you here in front of the after the name of the authors here, springer.com, elsevier.com. So you can take the reference from here. Here on this side, if the window was not there, I would have shown it to you that here on this side, the source for the full paper is also mentioned. So if you click it here, you will get the full paper also. Here the word my profile is there and my library is there. So you can take it. It will take it to you on your Google Scholar profile, or you can make your Google Scholar profile by using these options. So this is the way by which you can take the references. Further, one more thing before I go, if you take from the Google, don't believe on Google. Okay, this is the last and important part. Don't believe upon the Google. If you are copying from here APA, just check. Sometime it may happen that a full paper source is given here, but Google here will shows it to you till the volume and number. It will not shows it to you the the page numbers. So if the page numbers are not there in your references, then again there will be a question mark that you have written or you have taken the references casually, and the journals do not treat it as a good practice. So if it is not there page number, then you can use this part. You can here, from here you can click and you can search out the full paper where the page number is there, so that you need to add it. Okay, so this is the one last suggestion, because as we are aware, if we search on Google, if there are 100 correct information, then there may be 500 wrong information. So you need to search out the accurate information. And finally, if you have any question, this is my detail. If you want to get back to me for any type of help, I will be certainly giving it to you a reply. So that's all
Thank
from my
you.
side, and back to the organizer.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your knowledge. So there are some questions from the viewers if you would like to answer them.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Please.
The first question is that if you can suggest some list of Scopus journals which are for commerce and management areas.
Yes, ma'am. Uh, See, since we are in India and we always believe that we are not, or sometime our research may not be up to the quality. So I think first we need to take the journals from India. And from India, we have a very good journal which is available. Number one, you can note it down, Finance India. I may have added here something like this is the acceptance of my paper in Finance India. This is the acceptance of IGI Global. So one is Finance India. Another one is Indian Journal of Finance. These are the very good and reputed journal of finance side. If you want to take the HR side, though, so we do have a Journal of Management, which is the Indian Journal of Management, which is from HR side. Indian Journal of Marketing, which is from marketing side. Okay, so these are some of the journals which are easy, and in which if the paper is published, you will easily get the paper, and you can also prepare the paper into which will be suited or which will fit according to them. Another thing is they do not directly reject the paper. Okay, so what they do, they will give it to you to the area which you need to improve in your paper, and then they will accept. Okay, so there may be sometime, maybe as my paper, this Finance India, I got more than 10 time review from the reviewers. Then it was accepted. Okay, so certainly because it is Scopus, because it is refereed, it will not be easy for us. But yes, whatever things they required, if it is there in the paper, they will always ask you to resubmit with the changes. And once if you note down the changes, so what I did is I am having a diary in which I am also noting down that in my this paper, this was the question which is given by the reviewer. So in next time when I am writing a paper, before that I will read out the page from that diary, so that this problem should not be there in the next paper. I think I am clear with this.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge on how to write research papers and what are the do's and don'ts. I think it is very useful for our students, and I wish that all the students now will be able to publish their research papers in good journals. Thank you so much, sir, once again.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.